Hello and ahoy hoy, and welcome to another episode of Tootie's Toy Box. I am, of course, your host, Miss Tootie Odin. It is good to be here. It is good to see all of you when you guys eventually pop in. You know what I mean? Either way, it's very good to be here. I was out for the last 2 weeks. I didn't plan on being out for the last 2 weeks, but I fought this insane flu. I don't think I've ever been that sick in my life, and I am making such drastic changes to make sure that I don't get sick like that again. So that flu was an absolute life changer, and it turns out I got some work to do when it comes to my health, especially at the age that I'm at now. So it's good to be here. It's good to be able to breathe again. No aches, no pains, no bodily fluids leaving my body in any way, shape, or form. We are safe, I promise you guys. So thank you guys for being here once again. If you guys like this episode, if you like any of this content, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. It's a very humble, very small channel at the moment, and I think the more people encourage me to continue to do it, the more I'm going to do it. The more we're gonna get down and dirty on this, unless of course a government issued new virus comes in and I end up getting that one. So also, if you're watching on Twitch, thank you guys for being here on Twitch. I totally forget all the time that I actually do have a Twitch channel. I don't mean to put it on the back burner, but I appreciate anybody and everybody who's followed me on Twitch. Would love a bigger audience, and again, the more people I can actually see, I suppose, the more encouraged I'll be to actually be more involved on that platform. Either way, up to date stuff. Instagram, tootie.odin003 is my Instagram. You can always follow me there. It is a public platform. Nothing to hide on that one. And you will always get hour by hour updates on episodes and things like that, especially in my stories. Lots of clips on past episodes and whatnot. So there's that. On today's episode, I did plan on doing this last week, but concert season is upon us. Festival season. Some of us are looking forward to certain shows. I, for one, am looking forward to a couple of them, but a lot of them are very small venue shows. Some of them are private events that my friends host, and they're such phenomenal events. And I think the more intimate an event is, the more memories we make. Shout out Gemworks. Shout out Gemwork and Gemwork Radio. My brother Maz hosts amazing events in the privacy of a location here in Los Angeles. And man, magic is always made at those events. So I'm looking forward to this summer. That being said, I know there are a lot of people who are actually going to big venues, big concerts. Coachella is around the corner. There's the Just Like Heaven. I think South by Southwest is going on right now. So with that, with the idea of tons of actual events happening and the idea of crowds getting together, there's always this level of concern, right? There's always this level of this, that, and the other happening. But there are some major things that a lot of people miss and a lot of people don't think about when it comes to them going to concerts. And then there's the obvious ones that people think about before they decide they're going to empty their bank account for a weekend. I have here in my notes that actual concert tickets for single day events start from $75 to $200. For a full weekend, I see that they run from $250. I don't know who the hell's getting a 3-day festival for $250, but let me know. All the way up to $600, and that's not even for VIP status. For VIP, you're paying upwards of $2,000 just for a VIP weekend. And again, like from what I remember about Coachella, VIP weekends aren't very comfortable no matter what. So it's just interesting. You're just in a tent, and it's just slightly better than someone else's tent who didn't pay for the VIP. So maybe things are different now. Coachella's been around for over 20 years. I think some of my favorite festivals are the EDC festivals, Electric Daisy Carnival, for those who don't know what EDC is. The last one we had here that I went to was in 2006, I believe, and it was at the LA Coliseum. And I believe that year Deadmau5 closed and a day was had. I only went on Friday. I didn't do the whole weekend. I was only there for the Friday night event, and a time was had for sure. So I'm no stranger to concerts. I am no stranger to festivals. I have had a wonderful life and made beautiful memories, um, and learned some things rather quickly. And we'll actually do we'll get into that. We'll learn about the pros and cons of what to do and what not to do at concerts. Number one thing not to do at concerts: drugs. Don't do drugs at concerts, you guys. I mean, don't do drugs, but don't do drugs at concerts. Okay, so there's that. Another thing, the first thing I actually wanted to share with you guys in regards to like pricing and price gouging and whatnot, I'm gonna go ahead and already get started with sharing a screen with you guys. I also want to pull it up here because I'm gonna read it with you. Um, there we go. So it came to my attention. I don't know how well you guys can see it. Hopefully, you guys can see it pretty good. It came to my attention that a gentleman named James Weinhold, I believe. Let's see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. There we go. So, yeah, he was actually caught saying some pretty fucked up shit. These people are so stupid. I almost feel bad for taking advantage of them. That's that guy you see on screen. So, there actually is evidence that these guys are not just charging you what they're supposed to charge you. They're charging you because they can. They are charging you upwards of $150 just to park because they can. I actually have the article, or at least the snippet here. I want to read it with you guys. There it is. So this says, oh, there it is. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's it. Recently leaked internal messages show a director at Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster, bragging about overcharging concertgoers. In a Slack conversation from 2022, ticketing director Jeff Weinhold joked about inflated fees and wrote, "Robbing them blind, baby. That's how we do." What an idiot. While discussing expensive parking and add-on charges at venues. The resurfaced messages have reignited criticism surrounding the Ticketmaster ticketing controversy, where fans have long accused the company of excessive fees, lack of competition, and exploiting its dominance in the live music industry. Critics argue that these internal comments reveal the mindset behind the high prices fans regularly face when buying tickets, reinforcing concerns that the system is designed to maximize profit at the expense of consumers. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what they're doing. Like there is no like, oh well, maybe not, maybe, maybe it is what it is, maybe we're supposed to, oh, maybe parking's this much because rent's up, like, oh, in this economy, we get it, the economy is, everything's more expensive because of how the economy is. But it's right there. It's laid out flat for you guys. I think this is happening everywhere. I also think this is happening with gas prices. I do believe there is price gouging afoot amongst the gas situation going on right now. Every single time we have a new war, we have gas goes up. And unfortunately for the American people, that is our main concern. Not the war itself. We want the war to stop, but mainly because we don't want to pay $6 for gas. Morally, yada, 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 right? Morally, it's probably not the best idea to have war either, but we're not thinking that way. We're thinking with our wallets. And I think more and more people are starting to think with their wallets when it comes to their entertainment. We all know that the movie theaters themselves are at an all-time low, malls at an all-time low. Now, I don't think that necessarily means consumerism is down. In fact, consumerism is way up. It's the idea of putting in actual energy and effort to go and do something. Nobody wants to get up, take a shower, get dressed, go to the movie theater, watch a movie, the same movie they can watch on stream. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way about concerts. I think the only thing that has changed that, and as far as the concert world is concerned, is one, the stigma behind them because of unfortunate and tragic events that happened in the past, whether they be due to neglect, whether they be due to overselling a ticket. Um, uh, I think, for instance, the Travis Scott venue was only holding 60,000 people and 100,000 people showed up. I may have the numbers wrong, but it was only because of where the venue was and how they fixated the gates. It was only a certain amount of people that were going to be allowed into into GA. But that didn't happen. A lot of people showed up. More people. I don't know if you guys remember. They did show a bunch of rowdy kids breaking down the gates and just getting through that way. No judgment. I did it for EDC. Okay, so twice. We did it twice for EDC, and several other concerts. You see a gate with a slight ability to breach it, you breach it. You know what I mean? So no judgment. Kids are going to do what kids do, and I think venues should account for stuff like that. They don't, obviously. I mean, there's been way too many events. Now you can't predict everything. You can't predict the person that's going to unfortunately OD at the show. You can't predict the person that's going to be dehydrated because they got too drunk in the heat. There are certain things that are not the responsibility of the venue itself and of production and all that stuff. There are certain things that we as human beings who are attending these events, these are things that human beings who are spending good money to attend these events, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Your ticket does not include like asinine behavior and a free trip to the hospital. You know what I mean? Like there's no insurance, there's no health insurance behind your concert ticket. So, and those are hard lessons to learn. I learned it quickly. You don't do drugs and you don't, drink a shitload at some place that's going to dehydrate you because you're going to feel like shit. It's the truth. There's no stopping that. I don't know any single person who has hit it hard and actually ended up having a good time at the end of the night. I don't know a single one. Everybody I know that has attended concerts and events has a story. Everybody has that one story of I almost died that day. Everybody does. And then there's the unfortunate stories of where people actually do lose their lives. People actually do die at these concerts. People actually, even people who aren't expecting to, people who can be stone cold sober. Tragedies happen. And we're going to discuss those tragedies now. The most obvious one, because it was one of the most recent and probably one of the most tragic, is the Travis Scott concert. We're going to be discussing those. We will be discussing the idea of terror attacks, the idea of nature itself coming in and ruining a concert and actually taking, there's, involving casualties. So, is it worth the risk? Is it a commercial? Is it worth the risk of actually putting your hard-earned money and energy? Work is energy. No matter what you do, however you make your money, there's energy involved in it. And that's an exchange. That's a very valuable exchange. And is going to this show going to be worth that exchange? Because one, I have to consider whether I'm going to even come back home or not. It's heavy shit. It's kind of heavy shit to think about. So let's go over. Let's remind ourselves of what happened at the Tragic Scott concert. Let me pull it up for you. I hope I didn't close it. I did not. Okay, cool. I do have a couple for you guys. Just some that I found interesting. I work in event production. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And I know that our company takes there's a lot of safety measures for the crew, first of all, and then, of course, for event goers. We have to account for all kinds of scenarios, including the wind, including outside, unpredictable things happening, including people who are going to rush the stage. Like, there's a lot of things that go into actually being able to do our best to predict things that could go wrong and making sure that they do not go wrong. All right, hopefully you guys can see it and hear it. Here we go.
Hundreds were injured at Travis Scott's Astroworld concert after the crowd compressed. And here's how it happened. As Travis Scott comes out to perform, the high-density crowd begins to sway and push. push forward. And at this point, the crush is in full effect and the crowd begins to scream for help, loud enough that it's picked up by Apple Music's live feed. Travis stops and points to a fan in a tree while those in front of him are screaming for help and yelling for a medic. As Travis shifts songs, the fan goes to the camera operators to try to stop the performance and get help. At the same time, Scott notices an EMT cart trying to make its way through the crowd and orders his fans to put their hands in the sky. Moments later, he resumes his set. The second person then tries to get the camera operator's attention. 12 minutes later, a man passes out and begins to have a seizure. Travis notices and stops mid-song to request help.
Somebody help him, somebody passed out right here.
Scott begins humming as he watches the same crowd member receive emergency assistance. And you've got the crowd chanting for Scott to stop the show as he resumes his performance. And at that same time, the passed out man begins receiving medical care. And not until an hour later would the show be stopped. Friday.
So I think for that one, 9 people ended up passing away at that show. 9 people, 9 human beings who went there to have a good time. Now, amongst the thousands that were there, I'm sure it seems like a small number, but honestly, 1 is too many. For people who are only showing, they're not going to war. You know what I mean? They're not policing the community. They're not firefighters. They're concert goers. So 1 is absolutely more than enough to have passed away at a show. Now, again, I'm not actually counting people who OD or overdo it or dehydrate and their heart stops. Unfortunately, I'm not counting that because that's our decision. That is not on the venue to babysit you. So I'm literally only counting things where people they have no control over what is going on. In the situation when we're consuming, we have control over our consumption, so I kind of don't count those deaths, and I'm not out of disrespect, just because that's not exactly what we're talking about here. I know plenty of people who know how to enjoy themselves and have a good time without needing to overdo it and just overdo it when it comes to recreational usage of stuff. And what I have noticed about this is social media has made a giant impact on this industry, in that nobody's like really taking selfies at the movie theater and being like, I'm here. It's not like movie theaters are not for that. People are doing that at concerts and festivals, and if you're not here, then where the fuck you at? You know what I mean? It's those places. That's where you go and you do that, and you show everybody how great of a life you have, because I'm here at Coachella. I'm here at Up in Smoke. I'm here. You know what I mean? Like there's things. I do it. You know what I mean? I work events. So if any chance that I get to actually be like, I'm here, I'll do it. I don't always, because I'm at work. But if I get a chance at a cool show or something, oh man, I'm so down. You know what I mean? When I'm not busy. But I get it. I get it. Everybody wants to be the cool guy. Everybody wants the clicks. Everybody wants the likes. Everybody wants to be convincing enough that I am worthy of your attention. So give it to me by, looking at my selfie as I have, Wiz Khalifa behind me. I don't know. I it's just a name. I don't know. I was trying to think of like a really old guy, Elvis. I don't know. But so it's understandable. Now, there's a lot of speculation that this concert, the Travis Scott Astroworld concert that happened in Houston in 2021, that's what we're talking about. There was a lot of neglect involved, and I agree. I think there was a lot of neglect involved in that the gates should have been wider, obviously. The venue itself, I think, holds over 200,000 people, and they condensed it so that it only held 6,000 tickets, or I'm sorry, 60,000 tickets. Now, again, I could be getting the numbers slightly wrong, but it's something like that. It can hold this much. They only made enough room for this much. So, why? Why would they do that? Knowing how popular that this artist was, and all the other artists that came out with him. I think Drake was a surprise guest on that. So cool. So yeah, tragic stuff. Another one that I wanted to share with you guys is the Love Parade. It's not very well known, but it is also, it's like Electric Daisy Carnival. It's a full on massive rave that has been happening for years and years and years in, I think, Sweden, or Berlin. Anyway, over there, massive event. It's kind of on my bucket list because they still do it till this day. But even this one, same exact scenario. There were barriers and barricades set up in places that they shouldn't have been, given the dense community of people that were going to go to the show to have a good time. Remember, all of these people, every single one of these events, somebody woke up one morning and said, I can't wait to go. It's going to be awesome. Every single person that goes to these events wakes up excited for them. And some of them don't come home. So I have one more for you guys. I have a few more for you guys, actually. But this is the Love Parade. And I think this happened in 2010. I could be way wrong. And I apologize if I am. Okay. Let me show it to y'all.
Checked. The pressure on the crowd on the lower part of the big ramp continues to build up. In that area, the situation is now desperate. People are trapped. More and more people are trying to flee via a barricaded flight of stairs and several light towers. The situation continues to worsen. An increasing number of people are now trying to escape via these routes. As of around 1640, the pressure on the crowd on the ramp is so extreme that the first fatalities occur.
Oh, is that it? All right. Cool. So on that one, I think 21 or 23 people passed away. I thought I had that in the video, but I guess not. Again, one is one too many. One is one too many. These are events, these are things that could have been prevented by forecasting better, basically. You can forecast how a concert's going to go, especially a reoccurring concert. Want to know why and how? It happened last year. Like, what was the attendance last year? Attendance don't necessarily grow that much. You're not going to get 60,000 one year and then, the next year, oh my God, 200,000 people. What? It's usually around the same number, give or take, maybe 10,000, maybe. And I think that's being generous. Like, you get 90,000 one year, you get 100,000 the next year. Okay, cool. You need to account for those 1,000. Like, there's a lot of things I think that we are still learning when it comes to providing safe spaces for massive crowds, which I think is the only thing that, well, not the only thing. I think, again, terrorism is another one. But one of the main things that brings discomfort and uneasiness when it comes to wanting to go to shows. I don't think I'll ever probably attend a massive event that I'm not working. If I'm working it, I know exactly where I'm standing. I know I know exactly what to predict and what not to predict. I keep my eye out. I'm not security, but I am a 9/11 kid and I'm very paranoid. So I do keep my eye out for suspicious activities. I don't get paid for it. I don't tell my boss that's what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing all the time, because I would want somebody to be doing that for me. If me and my child are enjoying our time and just oblivious to things around us because we're having a good time watching the artist, I would want somebody to be out on the lookout. You know what I mean? Security, they do a fine job. I think for what it is and what they have to do, I think for the most part, security does a good job. And as far as like the venues that I've seen and I've actually been a part of. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that anybody's really watching out for you. They're only watching to make sure that people don't stumble, people don't get too wasted, people aren't fighting, mosh pits aren't hurting people, and this, that, and the other. Not necessarily, what is that guy over there doing? And why is he walking that way? And what is in his pockets? And you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of devious things we kind of have to look out for. Vegas shooting. The Vegas shooting is probably one of the better examples of unexpected terrorism. We do have the Manchester bombing that happened at an Ariana Grande concert where I think 56 people lost their lives. Children, mind you. Children, middle schoolers, high schoolers, little girls lost their lives via a terrorist attack on that concert in Manchester. The Vegas shooting, which I think happened in 2016, 2016 or 2017, 2019. It was fairly recent. Okay, not that less than 10 years ago. But that's wild. The guy let off over 300 rounds. Now, do I personally believe the official story about Stephen, whatever the guy's name is? No, I don't believe the official story. Some parts about it do not make any sense to me. That being said, that is the story that they've given us. And either way, 300 rounds, 306 rounds in 11 minutes is absolutely insane. That's war. That's warfare is what it is. So I do have a clip of the Vegas shooting for you guys, because let's face it, you guys, this is something that can exist anywhere. We've already seen it happen in places like movie theaters, schools, obviously, concerts, of course, festivals, whatnot. We've already seen these things happen. Big events, small events. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? I'm not going to let any of this hold me back, and I'm going to have a good time no matter what, and blah, blah, blah. I get that. I do. Nothing's going to stop us. The terrorists will not win. I get all of it. But is it worth it? $500 to price gouge you? To make sure that you pay over $70 for parking for no fucking reason? No reason. It's a fucking parking spot. Pavement and 2 white lines. $70 fucking dollars. It's wild. Is it worth it? Let's see. All right, I do have this one ready to go for you guys. This one was probably one of the ones that scared me a little bit the most, to be honest, especially because it was so recent. Here we go.
There was some popping sounds that everybody thought maybe were fireworks. I'm just really enjoying the concert, and then all of a sudden we hear what sounds kind of like firecrackers. It's just like a ta-ta-ta.
Like almost like firecrackers in like a metal barrel.
And then next thing you know, we hear the shots again.
Because you heard that brrrr, and then you can hear it ricocheting off of everything. You can hear it hitting buildings, you can hear it hitting the concession stands, and you can hear it hitting the floor and the ground and everything.
Like literally 10 feet in front of us, security guard that had told us to put our hands up earlier because he was on my shoulders. He got hit immediately. Then other people started getting hit.
Everybody's face just immediately changed, and the reaction on everybody's faces.
And everyone running away from the stage, or at least that I could think. That's the direction that I ran into.
And then it just seemed like the whole crowd just started just coming at me.
I thought we were gonna die.
I started screaming.
It's not okay. I agree. It's not okay. I couldn't imagine being put in a situation that I didn't ask to be put in, especially a situation like that. How much money did those people pay? Now, at this point, I'm sure because they escaped with their lives, the price tag is irrelevant. But is that really the way we're going to look at it? Oh, God damn it. I just turned the music back on and then it goes back to commercial. Is that really a way to look at it, though? Hey, well, at least you have your life. At least you have your health. Like $600 down the drain so that I can risk my life in a situation that I didn't plan to put myself in? Now, there are certain events that have better security. I'm sure Coachella, nothing super eventful has ever happened at Coachella, and I don't wish that on a concert that big. I don't wish it on any concert, to be honest. But here's what they didn't take into consideration at the Vegas concert: the windows. He shot through windows, but who thinks that way? He shot through the Mandalay Bay windows. I think it was the 32nd or 35th floor. Who would have predicted that? The only way you can predict something like that is if you already have the hindsight to look for it. This guy, supposedly, it's on camera, there's video, but this person was bringing in bags and bags and bags, 5 massive duffel bags at a time, 5 to 8 trips. And he took the service elevators, which is not uncommon. I know that a lot of people in Vegas, especially like rich guys, they take the service elevator with their stuff, especially when they want to stay with the things that they're taking up, because a lot of the stuff they take up is valuable, yada yada yada. But 8 times, one guy registered to the room 8 times. Nobody was like, oh, well, that's weird. And even if somebody was like, okay, that's kind of weird, nobody said anything. Nothing happened, really. And actually, no, that's not true. It was alerted. Somebody did actually do their job and it was alerted, but nothing happened with it. So why do your job and go above and beyond to do your job if somebody else is going to drop the ball down the road? How do you predict for shit like this? You know what I mean? And the Manchester shooting, the Manchester bombing, when that happened at the Ariana Grande concert, that was also alerted. But the guy didn't want to look like a racist. The guy said, oh, I see this guy, he has a backpack, but I didn't say anything because I don't want to look like a racist. Eesh, what a slippery slope. I get it, racial profiling, blah, 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 let's preach about it. But what happens? There's a difference between racial profiling and pattern recognition, right? You know, if you see something, say something. It's not if you see something, say something, unless he's wearing a turban, unless it's a black dude, unless he has this, why are we putting stipulations on see something, say something, when we're risking the lives of hundreds of thousands of people who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, hard-earned money for the most part, people who are buying these concert tickets and festival tickets aren't living off a fucking lamb, right? They're just like you and me. People who just want to escapism. They just want to have a good time. One day out of their life, they just want to make a memory with their friends, with their family. They just want to make a memory that they can keep. So when somebody passes away, at least I have this. And they get tainted. They get tainted by neglect, by terrorism, and by nature. I have one more for you guys. The Indiana State Fair, I can't remember the year, I think it was 2017. Don't quote me on that. But the Indiana State Fair, now this one I found extremely interesting because this is what I do. This is my job. I set up stages. I set up trussing with an amazing crew, an amazing boss. And like I said, we do 180s, we do 360 all the way around the campus, and we make sure every single thing that we put down is anchored and anchored correctly and balanced fairly. And it's tedious work. It's fun work, but it's tedious work, and it's extremely important. And I'm going to show you exactly how important and why it's important. This one really did fascinate me, you guys. Let me find it. Oh, I'm going backwards. Hold on. This is the last clip I have for you. And again, to me, probably the most interesting. Okay. Hold on. Excuse me.
Terrified crowd members watched on as charcoal clouds eclipsed the sky. Dust and wind tore through the stage, and a sudden gust ripped the fabric roof clean off its structure. Those in the front row scrambled to escape the stage, but chairs and panicked ticket holders blocked their path. They were trapped, powerless, as the metal truss columns gave a sickening creak. Then, the unthinkable happened. Under the strain of 60-mile-an-hour winds, the barriers holding the guidelines began to slide, pulling the stage off balance until the columns gave way, crushing anyone who couldn't react in time. In just 12 seconds, the show became a catastrophe. Hundreds of brave concertgoers rushed to lift the structure off victims, whose desperate cries filled the air. They were joined by nearby staff and emergency crews, but it was already clear that some were beyond saving. A state trooper reported the emergency, which was instantly elevated to a mass casualty incident. Thankfully, the response was far more effective than the disorganized show, and responders completed the initial search of the site within 10 minutes of the call.
So I wanted to show you guys, if it allows me to. There's two white tents on each side of the venue. Those are like backstage tents. One is probably sound or audio and lighting, and one might be a backstage where performers are able to get up and do what they have to do. So anybody
Front row scrambled to escape the stage.
Anybody who was in those two tents got crushed. A handful of them did get crushed to death, unfortunately. I think there was 4 casualties. And then, man, it seems like the community came together and actually tried their best to lift these trusses and whatnot. Now truss is hollow. It's made out of, I think, aluminum, some kind of like hollow, lightweight alloy, but they still weigh a lot. They still weigh at least 30 pounds each. They're very long, they're awkward, they're oblong and metal, but they are lightweight. So I can see why and how they would fall over in such a gust of wind, with the exception of the guidelines were probably not anchored properly, is my guess. Again, this is just me studying and observing through my own eye and my own experiences. That is a massive stage. We have done big stages, but I don't think I've ever worked on a stage that big before. That's fucking massive. But yeah, these things are very lightweight. Again, not anchored properly, they're gonna fall like a pancake, just like they did there.
Stage, but chairs and panicked ticket holders blocked their path. They were trapped, powerless, as the metal truck.
Oh, I think I missed. Oh no, I didn't miss it yet. Here we go. Okay.
With a strain of 60-mile-an-hour winds, the barriers holding the guidelines began to slide, pulling the stage off balance until the columns gave way, crushing anyone who couldn't react in time.
That's absolutely terrifying. See, to me, I think that's a little bit more terrifying than the other scenarios, only because that one seems like a little bit more plausible and maybe a little more unpredictable. Like I said, like we have a protocol, we have an order on how we do things, and that order is, as soon as you set something up, you anchor it. No matter what. I don't give a shit. It's my boss. He doesn't give a shit if it's not a windy day. We are anchoring. We are anchoring the hell out of things that are being put down, because liability, dude, shit like that. You don't need accidents to happen that you can actually prevent. And it's through, like I said, hindsight is always 20/20 in situations like this. So it's understandable. It's a live and learn situation, but at the same time, you know what else it is? It's let me fucking save money and cut corners wherever I can at the expense of the consumer who's spending their hard-earned money for this event. That's wrong. That's where the line should always be drawn. which is why I ask again, consider maybe not going. Consider maybe starting a petition to boycott these places so that they're not so expensive. The risk in that is that if they're going to cut discounts for tickets, then they're going to cut they're going to cut corners wherever they can. So 30% less security guards. 30% less surveillance. Who knows? Who knows what they would choose to actually cut corners to make sure that they make their penny. These people are fucking stupid. This is what we do, baby. Whatever he said, right? Just straight up blatantly just fuck you. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. I'm Live Nation. No one comes close. I'm Ticketmaster. No one comes close. You guys don't have a choice but to buy from me. It's everywhere. I can't even go to a Dodger game, to be honest. I can't go to a Dodger. I fucking love the Dodgers. I can't go to a Dodger game. I can't afford it. And is it worth it? Is it worth $60 parking to park in the Dodger parking lot? No. No, not for me. Not for this old bitch. Not at all. Some people, I get it. Well, you're just not a fan. You're just not this and that. No, no, no. I'm a fan. I'm just a really smart one. That is the episode, ladies and gentlemen. I do have something that I want to share with you guys next week. Next week, we will be starting our next build, which I'm extremely excited about. It is the Mandalorian and one Starfighter. I am looking forward to this build. It should last us about 2 weeks. I'm also going to show you the builds that we did in the past and show you exactly what they look like. I'm actually going to super glue them so that they're actually like together and not falling apart constantly. But this is going to be our next one. I am very excited to do this project with you guys. I'm looking forward to it. Doing a build is always so relaxing. It's just me, a book that tells me what to do, and talking to you guys. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys have no idea. I'm ready. I'm ready to bust out this project. I'm really excited for it. And again, I got a Darth Vader that I need to show you guys once it's complete. It is complete, but I have to glue shit together so that it looks good. And my Grievous. My Grievous was the very first one we ever built, and I killed it. If I'm being honest with you guys, we tried to do a Gundam. I'm not ready for the Gundam yet. That is an insane build. It's going to be massive, and it's just so fucking complicated. So with the Gundam, there are episodes of the Gundam available on Tootie Soy Box, but I didn't finish it. I failed. So I'm going to take it, everything that I actually did build, I'm taking it all apart. I'm starting from scratch, and I can't wait to do that. That's going to be further down the road. But yes, the Mandalorian Starfighter is going to be next, and I'm really, really excited for it. So Star Wars fans, let's go. Unite. We got this. We're going to have a good time building that together, and I can't wait to do that with you guys. I haven't even opened it. It's sealed. It's completely sealed. I'm not opening it without you. Like, I want this. This is us. This is ours. Tootie Soy Box friends, this is ours, not just mine. So again, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for joining me on Twitch. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. If you guys like anything about this content, do me a favor and leave a thumbs up. If you like it a lot, subscribe. I'm here, and I will always be here. Follow me on Instagram for hour-by-hour updates at tootie.oden003. You guys have a wonderful night. It feels good to be back. It feels good to feel good. It feels good to feel healthy, and I have no choice but to get healthier. So you guys, maybe you'll join me in doing the same. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.